I don't often make an opening statement, but today I need to make an opening statement that it's come to our attention that Larry David is looking to do a little coaching, and we would just like to, I don't know who's the most, but we would welcome with open arms Larry David to come on out and shadow Coach Lubick and, dip his toe in the coaching waters. And I've consulted with Ty Burrell, obviously our lead kind of Hollywood / entertainment stalwart, and he's going to be in charge of laundry, obviously with the Gain connection. He'll be able to have unlimited gain, keep the uniforms clean, which is important. Neil Everett will be shadowing the head coach, and Peter Jacobson will be in charge of entertainment. But Larry, come on out. You're welcome to stay with me. You could probably afford something better, but come on out. Questions?
About that or about practice?
Either way.
I have so many.
Plenty of sunscreen, whatever you need.
First 4 days, how you feel like your guys are progressing? Where are you at right now?
A lot of competition, which I think is obviously healthy and good. Just a bunch of young guys that to this point haven't seen anybody really slam their face in the wall yet of just overwhelmed by whether that scheme or just the grind of camp so far. But a lot of good things, a lot of guys, a lot of things moving real fast, mostly good. We've had a bunch of big plays on offense, a bunch of turnover, big plays by the defense as well. So again, there's mixed blessings with that in that you're going against each other, and then a bunch of athleticism on special teams, and can't wait to see where a couple of these units are as we go next few weeks and beyond. There's just a lot of excitement as far as the young guys and all that competition.
First scrimmage will be early next week.
Yes, it is Monday, Tuesday.
And then what do you want to, it's first scrimmage, what do you want to see out of something like that?
Just to get out of their way and let them go, and let the guys, whether it's at quarterback or offensive line or linebacker or back end, communicate with each other better. We've tried to, we kind of practice that way with the music and everything, so the coaches can't coach them up, but invariably it happens. And so just letting those guys go and seeing who can make plays when they have to do it on their own.
Is that something you'd hold a guy like Royce or Darren Carrington, but more established guys out of to let the young guys shine?
Yeah, there'll be definitely opportunities. Certainly Royce won't be involved in that, but he'll be coaching the heck out of those other guys.
You brought up special teams, a lot of young guys. You're looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, punt and kick coverage was so uncharacteristically poor. Was there a pattern, an underlying factor for that? And if so, what can change this year? What are you looking for to change? What must change?
Well, yeah, it was really our punt team was not very good, and then kickoff, obviously did some good things with Matt kicking the ball long ways, but yeah, a lot of reasons that we've worked to address. I think certainly depth at linebacker. There's so many new faces at linebacker. AJ, Daquan, Troy Dye, Eric Briscoe. I'm going to forget all those new guys. There's just a bunch of competition in there right now, which we were taping guys together and trying to spackle it all together and get it out there. But I really like where that's headed from a depth standpoint.
What's Daquan done to emerge so far in the fall?
He just works his tail off. He's a physical guy. He's just relentless as far as how he works and kick, whatever it is, kickoff cover, punt cover, playing defense. He's done a great job at linebacker, and again, whether it's AJ or Johnny Reagan, Jimmy Swain, all those guys, there's a ton of competition, which is good.
At tight end, how much does the depth there help you guys, and what do you see out of that position so far?
Yeah, that's huge. To be a two tight end team, you really have to have 4 or even 5 tight ends, because somebody's gonna break a shoelace or something else going forward, and so that allows you to practice those things and then have confidence in your backups. If you have 2 good tight ends, it's really hard to be a 2 tight end team. That sounds kind of weird, but you've got to have backups you have confidence in, and to really commit to that aspect of your game plan. And so we have a good issue there, and then a good issue at receiver, hopefully emerging.
Last year, Braylon and Byron were kind of your returners until when Charles kind of took over. But is there another guy or two or three guys kind of in that mix to join Charles as a punt and kick returner?
Yeah, we haven't done a ton of return stuff yet as far as evaluation of those guys. But again, all those DBs, all those everybody thinks they're a returner, right? It's like everybody thinks they're a quarterback, and so they'll all get a shot back there, and we'll sort that out here probably in the next 2 weeks.
For scrimmage, is there anything specific that you're trying to look for and evaluate during that time? Any one position?
You guys do this? No.
Oh, I'm
He
sorry.
just asked.
I'm so
no, that's
sorry.
all right. No, yeah. We just want to see guys play freely. You know, play by themselves, and without the coaches being out there to coach. Great, what you know is we've got a bunch of young offensive linemen that are competing their tails off and doing a lot of great stuff. That group, very excited about. But you know, it's hard for him to not coach them up and you know, maybe communicate a line call that will never be able to happen in a game. And so getting those guys to do that on their own, have some success, have some failure, and learn from it.
When Brady chose so he's coaching the outside of the defensive line and Ron's doing the inside. Was that because you guys decided that, you know, there's so much change going in at that kind of position line, you want to have two coaches focusing in, or what kind of goes into how they divvied up who's coaching what on?
I think it's just how it worked out teaching wise. You know, I think Brady wanted to be a more hands-on type of coordinator, which, you know, I think that it's varies around the country of how, you know, how many guys are position coaches, or the phrase walk-around coordinator is used. And so I think that's just his nature of wanting to be a little bit more hands-on. But we do a bunch of stuff where they're together, or, you know, they're fitting stuff with linebackers and ends, or corners and linebackers, and, you know, just of those teaching kind of progressions as they do group work to teamwork.
Coach, I assume you want to have like checkpoints as each week of fall camp goes by. What was the kind of that one thing you wanted to see at the end of this week, and you think you're on pace to reaching that?
Well, I like how we're working. We're making a ton of mistakes, which is fine at this stage, and how we're making them. I like, but just to continue to do that, you know, and that's staying healthy. That's hydrating, obviously, with the heat and how we're working. We gotta stay healthy, and knock on wood, that will continue.
Don has a ton of energy. He seems like he's almost spry. I mean, seems like he's in great mood.
Spry.
When you made that decision, was this kind of what you would hope, best case scenario, that he would not only return, but he would return in such a way that he has clearly embraced it?
It's I was shaking my head because there's no way that, you know, speaking of script writing, there's no way that I could have written it as good as it is. My dream sequence was not as good as it is, and I think again that just goes to our culture and who he is, and because for that guy to do what he's done and how he's done it, and the players, you know, stuff like that, man, that can divide you up. And I think again it's just such a tribute to the type of guy he is. Absolutely.
Were you prepared for that situation, that conversation to go in a bunch of different ways, or did you think in your back of your mind he'd probably stick around because he has such deep ties here?
Yeah, I mean, I thought, I didn't think it would go as well as it did, but just the type of man he is, absolutely. You know, as I said at the beginning, he's part of the solution. He's part of the foundation of this place in many ways, whether it's academically, socially, and certainly from a football standpoint. You know, he along with whether it's Herb Yamanaka or Rich Brooks or Joe Shaffield, all the guys that have kind of laid the groundwork for this place, that in some way, shape, or form goes unnoticed amidst all the shiny stuff. It's the people. It's the people, and he's one of them.
His old job was a big one. His new job is also, he could have 3 new starters there.
Yeah.
Tackling is something that just kind of pops up. I know spread and those kind of offenses doesn't help that, but how are you guys addressing tackling and hopefully getting it, you know, better?
Yeah.
And all that.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, that's a long answer. It's a hard deal, but yeah, part of that is scheme, part of that is coaching, part of that is technical, and you know we've done a bunch of stuff as a team, just for special teams purposes, for terminology purposes, just being on the same page, and so we've kind of redone how we've installed just the concept of tackling, and then it just goes down to, you know, as you said, these guys are tackling really athletic guys in space, and that's hard. It's hard to tackle Charles Nelson in a 6 foot wide space. That's really difficult, and that's what modern offense has tried to do to defenses.
You mentioned just the technical aspect of it. I think Ohio State and Washington, they've kind of adopted probably publicly that rugby style tackling. Is that something the Seahawks think Pete Carroll is kind of said to be on the forefront of it? Is that what you mean by a technical going to that style, or is just I don't know?
Both. I mean, yes, we've done elements of that for a long time, just as far as getting the head out of the tackle and all those things. What I was alluding to is just kind of logistically how we've done it. Just put a much different emphasis on it. Hopefully, better emphasis, bigger emphasis on it up front in terms of just teaching everybody to tackle.
With almost half your class here in the spring, does that maybe fast forward things the first few days here in terms of familiarity and
Yeah.
the way you guys can?
Definitely. And I almost think that sometimes I was talking to some of the coaches the other day, almost to a fault. You know, we want to push these guys and you know, just push them to the hilt, but also we need to still install things. And some of the guys that weren't here, Sam Patasi, a couple of the guys, they've done a nice job just blending in, and you wouldn't necessarily go, wow, that guy was, you know, totally out of place in terms of what they've been doing. And then by the same token, the redshirt freshman offensive linemen, some of those other guys that were here look really good at this point. And so, yeah, it's a mixed blessing, but I think the guys that were here have taken advantage of it.
Coach, switching gears to quarterback real quick. How has experience kind of shaped the battle so far? I mean, between Dakota and Travis. I mean, Travis had the lead in the program more than Dakota does.
That's the thing that will play out in the next week and a half or so, week and a half, I think. What exactly that means. You know, their levels of experience are so different. Us getting to know them, how they think, what they do, is a big part of it too, and that's probably just as big as their experience sometimes. Just putting them in their best types of situations, types of plays. But they made more plays yesterday, made a few more plays today, had a lot of defense in today that caught a couple of them off guard at times, but we're headed the right direction there.
Mark, how's your secondary looking so far? A lot of experience, a lot of candidates, a year older, but a lot of times you want to improve, not just gain a year. Because if you have a solid secondary, you probably do a lot of better things up front. How's it look?
It's a mixed bag, so far, and I think that would characterize every skill area. Mm-hmm. We had a couple pick sixes this morning, and we had a couple, oh my gosh, how is that guy 30 yards wide open moments, and that's fall camp. But they're competing. They've tackled better. We haven't tackled to the ground, but fit and just play more aggressively, more physically. And so, again, it's positive, but obviously we have a long way to go there.
John Neal said, we were put in a situation where we had to play guys maybe before we should have played them. But that should somewhat be rectified now. All of them should sort of know the game and know, formations and situations and so forth, right?
Logically, that would stand to reason, yes. But sometimes it doesn't shake out that way. But yeah, absolutely, all those guys. Arion Springs has made a bunch more plays this fall. Ugo's done some good things, but I'm trying to, Jawan Williams, some guys that were in and out. But yes, absolutely, we need and want and hope that those guys are much improved.
And Tyree's sort of a rock back there because he's so flexible, right?
Iraq, like country?
Maybe not
Iraq?
that,
Iraq?
A-Rock.
Tyree's been really good this fall as well. Taking on more of kind of the big brother role, leadership role. Another guy that's played just more physically, and guys do definitely look to him. Khalil Oliver's done some good things back there. Fotu, and then it's just such a mixed bag right now because there's new coverages, new routes that they see for the first time, and sometimes those are explosive one way or the other.
Would you like Schuler to bring him in? So I think it was like almost July when he signed.
Yeah, we knew about him for a long time, and there were just a couple little weird hurdles that we had to get through. But he's shown some great signs. Those young DBs have all, Brady Breeze has done some good things. Brandon's done some good things. He can really run. Haven't gone full tilt as far as finishing guys to the ground, tackling, but he's certainly shown that willingness on film.
Reading his file online, it seems like he played like a whole bunch of different positions in high school. Where does he fit right now, maybe going in on the defense? Like, is it safety? Is he DB?
Yeah, he's a DB right now. He's a DB, and so he's played some corner and safety. that's one of one of those things with a guy like that, and Brady, you move them around a little bit at first, see if they can handle it mentally, which they have thus far, and so we'll keep pushing.
And Cisse in the back is still in the mix, right? Chris Cisse. And then also Reggie. Is Reggie still in the mix safety-wise?
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Mark.
All right, thanks.
Thanks.